Hey everyone, welcome back to another Rock Feed video. Today we are covering the 8 times Kid Rock got into feuds with celebrities. Now if you are new here, please be sure to give us a like and subscribe, that way you get all the latest breaking rock news, docs, and more. Now, on to Kid Rock and all of his celebrity feuds. Number 8, Beyonce. I know, this one is a little odd. Why would Kid Rock ever be in a feud with Beyonce? Well, it wasn't so much Beyonce as it was all of her fans. In February of 2015, Kid Rock told Rolling Stone, "Beyonce, to me, doesn't have a purple rain, but she's the biggest thing on earth. How can you be that big without at least one Sweet Home Alabama or Old Time Rock and Roll? People are like, Beyonce's hot, got a nice ass. I'm like, cool, I like skinny white chicks with big tits. Doesn't really do much for me." Now Beyonce, well, she didn't respond. And honestly, why would you? I'm still wondering why he was even talking about her to begin with. But the Beehive took to social media and started blasting all of his posts, asking things like why he's 70 but still called a kid. Number 7, Taylor Swift. Again, another odd one, I know, but Kid Rock decided that on August 9th, 2019, it was time to tweet about Taylor Swift. No one could have seen this coming. In his tweet, he said, "Taylor Swift wants to be a Democrat because she wants to be in movies, period. And it looks like she will suck the doorknob off of Hollyweird to get there. Oldest move in the book. Good luck, girl. Kid Rock." Now this tweet came out a day after Taylor Swift discussed her political views in a Variety interview. Swift chose not to comment about Kid Rock's post, but several other celebrities did, like Patton Oswalt, who said, "Amen, Bob. She should be a real American like you, growing up on a 6-acre estate, complete with tennis court and horse paddock, and then bravely adopting a faux redneck shit-kicker cosplay persona. God bless you, buddy. Rough." Chrissy Teigen replied with a 2-word comment just saying, "You're pathetic." And Sheryl Crow said, "Spread love, not hate. End of subject." Number 6, Oprah. So his beef with Oprah seems to have started back in 2008. In an interview with The Independent, he referred to Oprah as a real-life villain, and that she rubs me up the wrong way. I just don't believe her. Maybe it's because I'm not one of the 150 million brainwashed women who heed her every word. Well, fast forward 11 years later to November of 2019, and TMZ posts a video where Kid Rock is at his own Nashville restaurant and appears to be heavily intoxicated. He starts going off on a rant about Oprah Winfrey and Joy Behar. He is heard saying, "I'm not a bad guy. I'm just an honest guy that says, hey, I don't like Oprah Winfrey or Joy Behar. They can suck dick sideways." Now this rant goes on for about another 2 minutes before his own security guards escort him off the stage. The video is still out there if you're even remotely curious about his thoughts on Oprah and Joy. And the following day, he tweeted, "My people tried to get me to do the Oprah Winfrey show years ago. And her people wanted me to write down 5 reasons why I love her and her show. I said fuck that and her, end of story." Number 5, Steven Tyler. Back in 2010, it had come out that Steven Tyler was going to be a new judge for American Idol. Kid Rock, in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, stated, "Steven is a sacred American institution of rock and roll. He just threw it all out the window. He just stomped on it and set it on fire. We should bring back the guillotine, or whatever they call that thing." Basically, he was hinting that he wanted to kill the person that told Steven to take the job. And if Steven made the decision himself, he needs some serious counseling. I love him to death, but I gotta speak the truth. Steven initially responded by saying that Kid Rock was just jealous. Then in an interview with Billboard, Tyler stated that he later ran into Kid Rock at the Kennedy Center honors and told Rock, "You know what, man? I'm not gonna argue with you. If I agreed with you, we'd both be wrong." In his interview with Billboard, Tyler said, "We're all an outcome of what we've been, and he's certainly lived a rough life. He's got a single coming out, and he's like a pregnant animal. When you have an album, you want to protect it. You want to do whatever you can to make it happen. I just know that deep down inside, his comments don't mean shit. It just doesn't mean anything in the great scheme of things. It's television. I've never done this, and it's gonna be fun. And if he thinks for a minute that it's going to take my career down, I want what he's smoking." Number 4, Hank Williams III. Now this feud seemed to have started shortly after Kid Rock and Hank's dad, Hank Jr., did a song together called Redneck Paradise. Then shortly after, there was this really odd rumor that Kid Rock was actually the illegitimate son of Hank Jr. Now anyone that knows the Williams family history knows that Jr. and Hank III, well, they weren't really ever close. And for people to say that Jr. was Kid Rock's dad, well, that just stirred the fire. Hank III actually released a song called Not Everybody's Like Us. And there's a line in the song that says, "And just so you know, so it's set in stone. Kid Rock don't come for where I come from. Yeah, it's true, he's a Yank. He ain't no son of Hank. And if you thought so, goddamn, you're fucking dumb." In an interview with Mike Errico, Mike then asked Hank about his feud with Kid Rock and how it all started. Hank just says, "Yeah, well, that's been going for a while, and he brought that upon himself, man." So then Mike asks, "So you've had a run-in with him?" I've met him back when he hit with that big song and he came in like, I'm the next Elvis." I'm like, "Whatever, dude, the Beastie Boys have been around a lot longer than you have." I first immediately saw that, okay, this guy's an asshole, and I can see why him and my dad get along pretty good. And then we came back through Detroit, and he kept trying to come onto the bus, him and Pam Anderson and all that shit. And I said, "Tell that motherfucker I got nothing to say to him." And then he finally gets his way back in there and tells me how I need to be treating my dad, and I'm like, "All right, you just crossed the line, motherfucker, and I don't know how many times I have to say it. No, he's not my brother. He's a damn Yankee from fucking up in Detroit, and his dad runs Cadillac dealerships. He's got no blood relation to us at all." Number 3, ICP. Alright, so this feud dates back to 1992 in Detroit, when Kid Rock and ICP were just starting out and trying to make a name for themselves. Rock never understood or liked what ICP was all about, and ICP couldn't stand how Kid Rock would just rap over shitty music. And coming from the same town, they did work together on some songs, and they would oftentimes do shows together because they had a lot of mutual friends. But they could never get along. Violent J said that Kid Rock probably dissed him and Shaggy over 1,000 times to their faces while growing up in Detroit, and probably didn't even realize he was doing it. Jay says the only reason that things never got physical between them was because they both had the same best friend in Mikey Clark. So to prevent Mike from getting put into a weird situation, they would just allow him to be a jerk. And while ICP and Kid Rock may not like each other or their music, Violent J did say that Kid Rock deserved all of the fame that he has achieved. Although he may have been a dick, Rock put in the work and paid his dues to get the big break that he did. Number 2, Joy Behar. This feud started shortly after Kid Rock, Sarah Palin, and Ted Nugent visited the White House. They posted pictures online of them posing in front of a painting of Hillary Clinton. Joy Behar brought up the picture to her audience and said, "Is this the saddest day in the history of the White House since the British burned it to the ground in 1814? A week later, while doing an interview, Kid Rock responded with, "It's so hard for people to get past that we can disagree and still be cordial with each other and just talk about things without going for each other's throats and protesting everything. God forbid you say something a little bit wrong. You're racist, homophobic, Islamophobic, this, that, and the other. People need to calm down and get a little less politically correct. I would say love everybody, except I'd say screw that Joy Behar bitch." Well, Fox and Friends quickly told Kid Rock that you can't say that on TV, and he seemed to apologize and jokingly said he meant to say lady. A few hours later on The View, Joy Behar responds, saying she would like to have Kid Rock on the show for a beer, and then went on to question why he felt the need to attack her. Who is she? She's just a comedian on a TV show. Go after the big shots. Well, because of Kid Rock's actions, he was then told that he could no longer be the Grand Marshal at the 65th Annual Nashville Christmas Parade. So, Rock took to Twitter and said, "Behar has been an outspoken critic of President Donald Trump, and when myself, Sarah Palin, and Ted Nugent visited the White House last year, Behar called it the saddest day in the history of the White House since the British burned it to the ground in 1814. Today, I said, screw that Joy Behar bitch. Mess with the bull, you get the horns, end of story. I apologize for cursing on live TV. I will not for my sentiment, nor do I expect an apology from her or anyone else who has choice words for me or doesn't like me. God bless America, Kid Rock." Now, Behar appears to have ended the public feud by briefly thanking the mayor of Nashville for removing Rock from the parade. Number 1, Tommy Lee. How could we not end a list about celebrity feuds with Kid Rock without talking about this one? Now, as everyone knows, Tommy Lee was married to Pamela Anderson for a while. They got divorced and both moved on. Pamela later married Kid Rock for only about 4 months before they too also got divorced. Well, according to Rock, during their divorce, Tommy Lee was messaging him and talking a lot of smack. Kid Rock told him, "Just wait until I see you again." Well, on New Year's Eve, Kid Rock thought he knew what room Tommy was staying in and proceeded to kick in the door of a hotel room only to find a startled family. So fast forward a few months later, and they are both at the MTV Video Music Awards. Lee claims that he was just minding his own business and got a tap on the shoulder from who he dubbed Kid Pebble. He turned around, gave a half hug, and asked what was up. That's when Kid Pebble slapped Lee and then punched him before security separated the two. Now, according to Kid Rock, he claims that he overheard Lee talking smack to P. Diddy about him, and all of the tension from the previous few years just boiled over. He does go on to say, though, that none of it had to do with Pamela Anderson. Somehow I personally doubt that, but hey, who knows? And that concludes our Kid Rock feud countdown, but I did have one honorable mention, as it's not so much a feud as just something I personally found rather entertaining. When South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut was set to be released, Paramount had paid $300,000 to have a Kid Rock song in the movie. Well, Trey Parker and Matt Stone were so against the idea of being linked to Kid Rock that they actually paid $300,000 of their own money to not have the song anywhere near their movie. Ouch!